time now to take a look at some of the week's stories that impact branding and brands. So we're going to bring in branding expert and host of the Chatter That Matters podcast, Tony Chapman, friend of our show. Hey, Tony, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Tony. We're all smiling, but Canadian retailers not really likely smiling a lot these days. They're dropping like flies. We've been talking about multiples of them this week, and you're highlighting some of the examples here. Can anything be done? Like, is this like economy-wide now?
It is economy-wide. I mean, when you think of what the cornerstone and bedrock of retail was, getting a great location, great assortment of products, pricing properly, promotion, all of that now is offered by Amazon. And so Amazon's saying you can have all of that with the convenience of shopping from your lazy boy. The only way retailers can survive, and I hope they're listening, is you got to stop being a place to buy stuff and become a place to be. Find some specialized area. Hire passionate staff. When somebody comes in, meet them with shining eyes. Talk to them about the customer's experience, their passions, and how you can help them unlock it. And if you can do that, you stand a chance to survive. And we really need our retailers to survive. You take that away from our main streets, you take away the energy, you take away the jobs, and what you have is a lot of boarded up stores or services, and they just do not have the same buzz as retail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sad reality these days for many Canadian retailers and even small businesses, small restaurants struggling, Tony. Times are tough. Meantime, let's move on to one of the biggest, TV events this year, the NFL Super Bowl. But it looks like the halftime show a lot of people tuned into. But we're seeing some fallout. So what are you making from this?
Well, I got to give kudos to the NFL. They knew they were going to get this blowback from the White House. They knew that a lot of their diehard football fans would be upset. But here's the reality. Those football fans aren't going away. They love the NFL. The franchise value has gone through the roof. What the NFL was doing and signaling is we need the Latinos. We need the same customer base that feeds basketball. Latinos are the fastest growing segment of the population. They're going down and playing an NFL game in Rio. They want to take this brand around the world. And I think it was a brilliant move on their part. And basically they're saying, we know what our base is. We now got to expand it. And I think that's what a great branding organization does. It's willing to risk a little bit of what they have to go after much more of what they need for tomorrow.
That's what I was going to ask you about, is the risks, Tony, here. I mean, maybe even if you lose, 5% of, say, your traditional audience, but you can gain back so much more of that new audience you're looking for. The NFL looks at that and says, hey, makes sense.
It does. And the other thing is we're not talking about enough yet, and we will, is how much money is flowing into sports gambling. And again, you have that younger audience, somebody that's grown up with a phone in their hands. Once again, the NFL says we can't just service this customer base that we might lose 5% every year because they're passing away. That's how aging they are. Yeah. We got to attract this new group in there. And that's what they're doing with the halftime show. That's what they're doing playing exhibition games in Rio. Follow the NFL. You're following one of the most successful sports franchises because they don't stand still. They move to where their customers are going.
And super quickly, Tony, there was that sort of rival All-American halftime show that attracted 5-6 million viewers. What's your sense of that sort of strategy to try to pull in the quote-unquote All-American audience?
Yeah, it's a poorly executed strategy. Most of those viewers were bots. Here's the reality: is you're watching the football game, you're going to stay focused on it. You're going to watch the halftime show because you're either going to love it or hate it. But it's engaging. It's going to bring you in. And so that's why I really believe that what the NFL has done is focused on this is smart marketing. This to me is just it's just again part of this far left, far right nonsense where you're trying to swing people one way or the other. Let's stay in the middle, everybody, and we stay in the middle, humanity advances. And this is just a great example of saying, I don't like what you're doing, so I'm going to go over here and do this. And to me, it's wasted time, wasted effort.
Yeah, of course, that Turning Point USA halftime show with Kid Rock kind of lip syncing, as Nick noticed. Moving on to this, Tony, the Canadian Auto Show returns to Toronto this weekend. A lot of fancy, nice cars, some affordable too. But I got to ask, does this type of stuff still appeal to customers, especially when we're talking about the cost of living these days really skyrocketing and affordability?
Here's the interesting thing about the automotive show. When it was in its heyday, everybody launched their new models in the fall, right? And so there was seasons to do it, or they launched their new models in the spring. So it was very important to have this as a way to standardize. Where I like the automotive show, and I hope they're sending this message to the world, Canadians buy $100 billion of cars every year. Almost half of them come from cars manufactured in the United States. So it's a great message to not only show what we're doing in the automotive industry and showcase Canadian technology, it's also a signal down to the moderates in the United States saying, we are a big market for your cars. Let's start working together in an integrated strategy to protect this industry and grow it versus dividing it and seeing business flow to economies where we're going to benefit in terms of no jobs. And so that's what I really love about the automotive. It still means something. People love to collect where everything's there. But I also think there's a political message here that I hope they address.
Yeah, you sound like you're describing the Auto Pack, Tony. Okay, that's it time-wise today. Tony, always good to talk to you about brands. We'll talk to you again next week. Until then, have a good one.
Thanks, Tony.